Okay, here's one on the central database computer that we talked about, where people in the future will interact with a system of knowledge to arrive at conclusions better. The question is, Jacques, can you elaborate on how we will interact with the central database computer and how it will be used as a decision-making tool and not for controlling an individual's life?
Oh. The control of an individual's life, meaning that the individual is aberrated. But we see no conditions in the future that would aberrate human behavior. Somebody said to me, would people be alike in the future, since your cities are round and your education is similar? Yes, they will. They will be alike in certain areas. They will not want to kill or hurt one another. Or they will never be racist or bigots, because that's cleaned out in the upbringing of people. And if you raise children in the schools of the future, they'll be raised together. Japanese, Afro-American, all children brought up together. Children have no bias, hatred, or racial prejudice. It's when the mother says, you're a Lutheran, you don't play with that little Catholic boy or Catholic girl. Or you're Jewish and you marry a nice Jewish girl. You don't marry a Gentile. It's parents that are brought up with these aberrations that separate society, that make it difficult to bridge the difference.
True. As far as the central database computer, as far as interacting with the system that we talked about.
Well, a computer, for example, a pilot, really has to use his own judgment in many instances. But when instruments were developed for aircraft, such as a little ball put in a semicircular glass tube, when the ball was on center, it means the plane was level. When he heads for a certain compass heading, which no human can do, we go by the compass. We assign direction to compass. We assign the height, not a pilot looking out of the airplane saying, I'm 1.5 miles high. We use Doppler radar because it's more sensitive than a human and tell us exactly how high we are. No human can do that. That's why it's not a machine takeover. What it is that machines in some areas are more sensitive than human beings. They will be assigned the task of giving the elevation that the airplane is above the earth. That's how we tell the distance of planets. We have beams that we can send out to the moon and get feedback from it and get the distance exactly that way. We have detecting devices made to comprise of prisms and light analytical methods. And these tell us whether there's oxygen on other planets and what kind of material exists on other planets. A lot of human beings, how do they know that the moon has no oxygen? They have devices which looks like a prism, and they get a color band from that, and that color band tells them what that planet likes. So we make instruments as extensions of human attributes. The microscope shows us a world that we can't see, and the electron microscope brings us to a level that we can't sense at all. There are germs on the table. If you didn't have a microscope, you'd never know that. Remember that a microscope is an extension of human need. So machines were looked upon as extensions to human attributes, not as a threat to life. They're looked upon as a threat because when a new machine comes in the factory, the boss doesn't call the helper and say, now you work 4 hours a day instead of 8 hours, and now you have a month vacation rather than 2 weeks. It's cheaper to get rid of you and call it downsizing. That's why I try to tell people continuously that they don't give a damn about you, otherwise they wouldn't outsource to other countries. If they cared about the American people, they would employ you, but they outsource because they can't stay in business if they don't meet the competition of other nations. You live in a competitive society, that means they can't afford to be decent and shorten the workday, increase your purchasing power, increase your vacation time. But in a global society, free of money, that has free access to resources, there's no more will you hear how much does it cost to build that city, how much does it cost to build a bridge. Do we have the resources to do that? Yes, we do. We have more than enough resources to house everyone and make all the necessities of life available to all people. Not how much will it cost. Do we have the resources?
Very good. You want to add that, Roxanne?
Yeah, today different companies and industries have databases based on whatever their particular need is for their corporation. But in the future, in the holistic system, within the resource-based economy, there'd be central databases of all information. And this way, when we know what's happening in different parts of the world, anywhere in the world, all aspects, if you want to ship so many automobiles or so many pieces of housing, for housing to another country, you would know if there's a flood or if the roads are down. You would have that information at your fingertips. And today, with all our knowledge and all our technology, groups of people or individual groups of people, no matter how much they were trained, could not manage all that information. So we would need that for a holistic approach for designing society and maintaining society. And that way, they would be able to make more appropriate decisions when needed.
We need computers in government to give us that information. Computers have to be connected to all industry, transportation systems, human illness, so we know how many hospitals to build. We know how much medication to prepare. No human can do that. Machines could handle 1,000 trillion bits of information per second. No human can do that. It is not a machine takeover that I'm talking about. I'm talking about using machines wherever it would be advantageous to human life.
Today, people are afraid of machines, and rightfully so, within the monetary system when the bottom line is profit, because machines today are used to kill people better and quicker and more efficiently. Or when machines take over in an industry, then people are laid off of work and they don't care about you, as Jacques said. But in a resource-based economy, machines would be your friends, really. They'd be used to make your life better and easier and with the access to more resources.
I'd like to summarize this question, if I may. There's two things I often bring up when people bring up this central database. And by the way, programs like this already do exist in fragments. They just are not expanded to encompass other fields. Algorithms will be developed to make cross-referencing a reality. But the first thing I say is, A, no human being can operate without bias. We can't operate in an utterly objective manner. Only machines can do so. And B, no human being can possibly understand all the variables that need to be taken into account for basically any problem. It's simply impossible and against our wiring. So people say this is what it sounds like science fiction when we bring up this idea. And you have an example of it, a very good one, in Looking Forward, which I think other people should read. You can download that from thevenusproject.com in PDF form for free. We need a tool that can objectively analyze all the variables as we know it today and then encapsulate them, and then we use that to inform us, not to control us.
Give us closer approximations of reality.
Right.
Nothing is final. There are no final frontiers.
Absolutely.